Let's get on to another subject though. Talk about the budgets coming up this week. What are your biggest fears about what is actually going to be announced? A lot's been announced already, but about what we don't know yet.
Cory, it's about the handouts. You know, what we're going to see in overspending. You're right in what you said. You know, government has to pull in their spending. It's like if you run your household. If you run over your budget, you actually go into your equity or you actually have to take a loan. That loan, unless you actually pull back on your spending, you can't pay back. So you're paying more in interest to the banking system. So the government has to lead by example and pull in their spending. All I see this, and what I've been on about since 2017, is the spending of NDIS. Do you know the nurse who works for the NDIS can get paid 3 times the amount that a nurse in the hospital system? If you're a psychologist, you can get paid $195 an hour, and some of these professions, $195 an hour. If it's a very remote area, over $500 an hour. What they pay to these providers, the administration, this is taxpayers' dollars. The amount of people that jump on this scheme shouldn't be on the NDIS. It is an absolute scam and a rort, and criminals are rorting the system. The other thing, Cory, is welfare. Why are we actually propping up welfare? Is it purely for the vote? And they're going to give people over 55 New Start allowance. Okay, I understand that. People are doing it tough. But if you haven't worked for more than 10 years, why should you be getting a helping hand? What about the mums and dads who have to have, you know, each one has to have a job? What about their helping hand? We have to stop the welfare mentality, and that's not government's about. And it's about buying the votes, and both of them have done it for years.
You know, Pauline, you'd be of the same vintage. You would remember this. There used to be this great pride in not getting government handouts, but pride in saying, no, we don't need it because we've got jobs and we're working. It was there for the genuinely in need. That seems to have changed now. Everyone's got their handout saying, what's in it for me? Hand me some cash because I'm missing out, even though they don't really need it.
Cory, that is the problem with our society, you know, and people don't think, you know, where's the money coming from? That's why we've got both parents having to work to pay the taxes that run this country for the essential needs and services and facilities that we require as a nation. You know, it is supposed to be as a helping hand. You know, I could walk in when I was 16, 17, and I could, you know, walk into a centre and there'd be jobs on offer there for us. Those jobs are there these days. But where are the Aussies going to look for them? Because the problem, Cory, a lot of it comes from our educational system. These kids in Year 12 are leaving the schools with 45% pass. That's a pass, 45% in English and maths. They are not passing the requirements for a decent education in this country. We're going to be left behind because you're going to have people coming out here from other countries to take the jobs that belong to Australians because a lot of them are too lazy and want a lifestyle paid for by the taxpayer. At the end of the day, mate, if you're one of those people, you might think it's good now, but further down the track, you're going to be sorry because at the end of the day, you won't have the taxpayers or the money in this country to be able to pay for your lifestyle anymore, and you're going to leave a hell of a debt to your children.
That's exactly it's exactly right. And you know what's propping up our lifestyle now is the mining industry, but the government seems to, you know, relish in its hatred of it. They announced it had stopped 2 coal mines in Queensland this week, and I suspect they're just trying to prop up their green credentials, but my spies tell me these mines were inactive for years anyway. So what have they actually done?
Cory, I went to the opening of mine up at 2.5 hours bus drive from Mackay this week, and it was great to see because the employment that it creates, the money it brings to the state, and as I said, 1 in 5 Queenslanders are actually attribute their livelihood or income to the mining sector. The amount of money it brings to the state is unbelievable, not only the state but all to the federal government as well in the royalties that they bring and the jobs that they create. But, you know, when Clive Palmer wanted to open up his mine, and I blame the coalition for this, that Susan Ley was too lazy and she promised me she would get up there to have a look at the mining site. They could have approved that mining site, but they didn't. So Tanya Plibersek, without even going up there, she knocked it on the head as well. You know, it's a laughing joke,
crazy
it really
stuff.
is, that we are selling our coal
Hey, Pauline,
overseas to China,
I've got to let you go,
who will
but
then use it
there's
for
one thing-
emissions. Sorry.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to get to before I let you go. Your newest cartoon is out, please explain. It's got a shot at Jim Chalmers. I thought it was funny. Have a look at this.
Jim, come on, don't beat yourself up, mate. It was your first budget.
Oh, Anthony, I don't want to be a treasurer anymore.
Don't say that, Jim. It's just the economy.
No, that was amazing. I think I found my calling. I want to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh, Jim. So I don't know if you've heard about this housing crisis, you know, not enough houses. How are we going to fix that?
Let's bring in 715,000 more immigrants, hey? What do you reckon? That'll fix it?
It was very clever, Pauline Hanson, but do you reckon the Treasurer has got a shot at being a stand-up comic maybe on Tuesday night?
Oh, look, Cory, I just wish you'd actually get it right and understand how people are hurting out there. Bringing in 715,000 migrants is not going to help our economy. It's going to put pressure on people's lives, our way of life, our standard of living, and all they're doing is propping up their economy with more migrants. It's not helping the Australian people.
You're absolutely right. Pauline Hanson, thanks so much for joining me. Enjoy your week in Parliament ahead of us.